as he sowed, some seed fell alongside the path, and the birds came and ate it up. Other seed fell on rocky patches where there was not much soil. It sprouted quickly because the soil was shallow, but when the sun had risen, the young plants were scorched, and since their roots were not deep, they dried up. Other seed fell among thorns, which grew up and choked the plants. But others fell into rich soil and produced grain, 100 or 60 or 30 times as much as had been sown. Those who have ears, let them hear. Then the Talmudim came and asked Yeshua, "Why are you speaking to them in parables?" He answered, "Because it has been given to you to know the secrets of the kingdom of heaven, but it has not been given to them. For anyone who has something will be given more, so that he will have plenty. But from anyone who has nothing, even what he does have will be taken away. Here is why I speak to them in parables. They look without seeing, and listen without hearing or understanding. That is, in them is fulfilled the prophecy of Yeshayahu, which says, 'You will keep on hearing but never understand, and keep on seeing but never perceive, because the heart of this people has become dull. With their ears they barely hear, and their eyes they have closed, so as not to see with their eyes, hear with their ears, understand with their heart, and do tshuva, so that I could heal them.' But in you, how blessed are your eyes, because they see, and your ears, because they hear. Yes, indeed, I tell you that many a prophet and many a tzaddik longed to see the things that you are seeing, but did not see them, and to hear the things that you are hearing, but did not hear them. So listen to what the parable of the sower means. Whoever hears the message about the kingdom, but doesn't understand it, is like the seed sown along the path. The evil one comes and seizes what was sown in his heart. The seed sown on rocky ground is like a person who hears the message and accepts it with joy at once, but has no root in himself, so he stays on for a while, but as soon as some trouble or persecution arises on account of the message, he immediately falls away. Now the seed sown among thorns stands for someone who hears the message but is choked by the worries of the world and the deceitful glamour of wealth, so that it produces nothing. However, what is sown on rich soil is the one who hears the message and understands it. Such a person will surely bear fruit, 100 or 60 or 30 times what was sown. Amen.
Amen. Awesome. Didn't expect that one. Page 33. Blessed are you, Adonai, our Elohim,
King of the universe, who gave to us the word of truth and planted everlasting life in our midst. Blessed are you, Adonai, giver of new covenant.
Amen. Shabbat Shalom. What a great week for Australia. So we know that our Prime Minister, who voted yes in the Yes campaign, is now no longer with us. And you can see that is actually the hand of Hashem doing the work. So Hashem always graciously give you a year to repent. And after a year, if you don't repent, well, I guess things happen into your life. First he takes your wealth, then he takes your body, your sickness, and then he'll take family members, or he'll take yourself.
Is Scott Morrison going to be any different though?
Well, with his background, hopefully he'll understand that what the last Prime Minister did, the 29th Prime Minister, by allowing the Yes campaign to happen in Australia. We've had the drought. That drought is going to go on for years. They think it's a quick fix. But because they've transitioned Australia to be such a place that is ungodly, Australia's going to suffer from that. And that most people think that's just global warming and all that, but it's actually a curse. It's been a curse on us for a while. So that's one. And now this Prime Minister, it has been taken down. That's two. So we can see that without them being aware, that Hashem will bring things in to come to the result if you do that stuff. So we're very fortunate that we're living in a time where we can see all these things. And also all the earthquakes that's actually happening. So in July alone, they've counted 1,022 earthquakes in just the month of July.
Whoa.
All right, so we're getting there. We sang so much this morning, I've lost my voice. That's all right.
Do you want some of those little balls?
Oh, no, it's not. I'm not coughing. I'm just losing my voice.
Yeah.
So you have to read with me. Let's do a quick prayer. Avinu Makeinu, our Father, our King, Torah Rabbah, Father Pushabah. Torah Rabbah for each and every one of us with the breath of life that's in us, the spark of the Shekinah, with the love that you've given to each and one of us, may it dwell in us. May Mashiach, the day that he comes, can smell the Ruach HaKodesh in us and not say to us, away from me, you evildoers, you lawlessness. Father, it is the Ruach that dwells in us that is able to give that smell. For indeed, the word Ruach is smell. And we thank you for that, reminding us each and every day of who we are. And we've left our family, we've left our wife, our husband, we've left our children, we've left our homes for the sake of following you. And it is that man that Yeshua said to us, if you are perfect, to be perfect, sell everything you have and come and follow me. Indeed, spiritually, our Heavenly Master, we've left everything behind and we have followed you. We sit in this shul that looks like a junkyard, but inside it's as beautiful as anything, and we know you dwell with us, and may your presence be with us today and those who are watching this message, because it's quite powerful, it's quite strong, and I hope that it doesn't sway them left or right, but keep them on the right path, which is the path of Torah and the path of Mashiach. We pray everything in the Prince of Shalom, B'Shem Yeshua HaMashiach. Amen.
Amen.
Okay. Ki Teze. You can read with me because I'm going to probably lose my voice half at the end of this, but Ki Teze. When you go. So we know today's Torah portion, so we don't have to remind everyone. We assume they've all read it. The first words in the parasha, which is the 49th week of the Torah portion. And I'm just going to do the groundwork before we get into the meat of things. I'm only going to concentrate on verse 10, 11, 12, 15, and 18, or just the whole of chapter 21. Because there's so much already in there. All right? This parasha sets out a series of miscellaneous laws, mostly governing civil and domestic life, including ordinances regarding a beautiful captive of war, inheritance among the sons of the two wives, a wayward son, the corpse of an executed person, found property, coming upon another in distress, rooftop safety, prohibited mixtures, sexual offences, membership in the congregation, camp hygiene, runaway slaves. Camp hygiene is very important if you have to live in the wilderness. You know that, right? If you don't have if we're going to live in the wilderness one day, think about camp hygiene. It's very important. Runaway slaves, prostitution, usury vows, gleaning, kidnapping, repossession, prompt payment of wages, vicarious liability, flogging, treatment of domestic animals. Wow, it's just so much laws today. Levitical marriage, which is called yibam. That's a yibam. All right. Weights and measures, and remembrance of the Amalekites. All right. Shabbat shalom. Ki zeh le milchama al ol vecha utanot Adonai Elohecha beyachad veyish sheveh. When thou goest back to battle against thy enemies, and Adonai thy Elohim delivers them into your hands, and thou carries them away. Verse 10. Now, if you have a Hebrew Bible, you need a Hebrew Bible today. We're doing a lot of Hebrew today. If you haven't got one, pick up one up. Turn to the book of Deuteronomy. And because you need to understand the Hebrew in order where I'm showing you, because I'm assuming that we've all graduated from primary school. Yes? I hope we have. I'm just gonna turn this to Auntie's sister so she can. Sister. You can follow us.
Thank you.
Because at the end of, traditionally, once the rabbis teach, the Torah scroll is lifted to show the portion where he was studying, so he doesn't make things up. Today we've got digital, so it's quite excellent for us. So these are the words we're gonna focus on. So you know, ki Teze is the one in red. All right. Array, which is a lion, all right? Array means lion. Array was taken into La Shevi, which is captivity, and thrown into a concentration camp where, to his amazement, he found other Arayims. They have been there for years, some of them all their lives, but for they have been born there. He soon became acquainted with the social activities of the camp lines. They banded themselves into groups. One group consisted of socializers, another group into show business, yet another was cultural, for its purpose was to carefully preserve the customs, the traditions, and the history of the times when lions were free. Other groups were religious. They gathered mostly to sing moving songs about a future jungle where there will be no fences. Some groups attached those who were literary and artistic by nature. Others still were revolutionary. They met to plot against their captors or against other revolutionary groups. Every now and then, a revolution would break out. One particular group would be wiped out by another, or the guards would all be killed and replaced by another set of guards. As this lion looked around, the newcomer observed one lion who always seemed deep in thought, a loner who belonged to no group and mostly kept away from everyone. There was something strange about him that commanded everyone's admiration and everyone's hostility, for his presence aroused fear and self-doubt. He said to the newcomer, "Join no group. These poor fools are busy with everything except what is essential." "And what's that?" the newcomer asked, studying the nature of the fence. Did we get that? Where are we going? That's the question, the next life. Don't worry about this life. Our sister Jacinta said, "You know what? When I do Torah now, I find the world so boring. I find it boring." And yes, because we're waiting for the next one. It is a boring world. But look, while we're in here, we're in the world, but we're not from the world. So we make do. This parasha is read during the month of Elul. We know the month of Elul is the month of the tribe of Dan and the constellation of Virgo. The optimum time for doing Teshuvah. Teshuvah is repentance. It is not only discussing a physical war, but it is also alluding to man's spiritual war. You can find this everywhere in this, because that's where they're alluding this to. But we might go deeper today. When you will go out to war against thy enemies, ki zetze lemin chama. Should have said ki techam im oivecha, when you will be at war with your enemy. Man has a yetzer tov and a yetzer hara. Yetzer tov is the good inclination, and the yetzer hara is the evil inclination. Both fight to control man's direction, and it is extremely difficult for man to overcome his powerful yetzer hara. However, our rabbi sages have declared that haba letaye mesaim oto, the one who wants to purify himself, is assisted from heaven. Similarly, the Midrash Rabbah states that Hashem says to Bnei Israel, "Make a small opening of teshuvah, repentance, like the opening of a needle, and I will open for you entrances through which caravans can pass." Along the way, a rabbi once said, "I tell you, it is easier for a gemel to go through the eye of a needle than for someone who is rich to enter the kingdom of Elohim." To encourage man to do teshuvah, the Torah is assuring us that when you will go out to war, if you will only resolve to go out and wage war, al ovevecha, against thy enemy, i.e., the yetzer hara, you will surely be victorious because Hashem will hand him over to you. Alternatively, the Zohar compares the inner struggle in man during prayer to the time of war. I just have to say Shabbat Shalom to Yaakov and Chris, he's there. I think they're watching online. They just want to, if they have questions, let me know, because I think he's been so bored that while painting, he's actually doing Torah in his head. He's that bored. Milchama. Milchama means battle or war or alarm of war. That's the alarm, milchama. It's the sounding of the alarm. All right? The root word of milchama is the root word lachem. Lachem is another word for lechem, which is bread. So when man fights against war, he does battle, he also fights against the lachem. And that you can get that in many commentaries, because this is a common thing that you should, a foundation we should all know. So the word for battle has a root word, lachem, means to fight, to make war, and it also can sound like lachem. Your enemy, the yetzer hara, tries in every way to distract the person and disrupt his kavanah, his intention. and man endeavors very hard to overcome him. Therefore Torah advises the ideal solution is ki Teze, to go out. One should leave his home to go to a shul. This is a place of worship, to daven, to pray with a minyan. There one will eliminate many distractions one encounters while praying at Ma'on, home, and the battle with the Yetzer Hara will be won easily. It is better to do it together. Therefore, fighting the Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination, with many is far better than by zich, yourself. Zach, yourself. Did we get what the rabbis are saying there?
Better fight together.
Do it together.
Yeah.
If we're going to fight, we fight together, not as one. Not as lone wolves behind a computer typing. After I've read a couple of books, I'm now qualified to teach you guys. Do it together, because together, Jeremiah go, oh Ben, I don't really agree with that. Behind a computer, you don't have that interaction. You don't have that disagreement. And that's how you grow very fast, because you're putting things out there. And that's what midrashes are great. We're still on verse 10, yeah? We're still on verse 10. We haven't moved. We're not going to move from verse 10 for like half an hour. The word shivo, that last word there, shivo, captive. Shivoi, shivo, because it's got a little dot at the top, shivo. The word shivo, it's captivity, literally means he's captive. Should not the pasuk, the verse, pasuk means verse. Should not the verse have said, shivecha, you're captive, or shivi, a captive? In wartime, generals try to determine the strategy of the enemy and plan their defense accordingly. Similarly, in the battle with the Yetzer Hara, a person should pay careful attention to how he becomes shivo, he's captive. One should first place great emphasis on capturing and taking control. That's why doing Torah makes you the head of society. It doesn't make you the tail. We don't borrow money, we lend money. And that's the reason why B'nai Israel is so good at this, because they are the ones that are controlling the finances. And because you control the finances, people hate you. If you control Hollywood, people hate you. And that's the reason why B'nai Israel is so good at it. Capturing and taking control, eliminating the weakness upon which the Yetzer Hara preys. So Acts 8:23 says, "For I see that you are full of bitterness and captive to sin." This is what Luke was talking about there in Acts. Alternatively, the Yetzer Hara works with excitement and enthusiasm, never tiring, or giving up. This is the evil inclination. The moment a person is off guard, the Yetzer captures him, and he falls into his net and becomes shivo, he's captive. The way to encounter his attack, the evil inclination's attack, is by using his method, namely excitement, zealousness, and zeal and enthusiasm in the performance of mitzvot, commandments, fulfilling Hashem's will with dedication and zeal. First, by capturing, using for Hashem the methods through which the Yetzer Hara makes you shivo, he's captive, you will ultimately capture him and rule over him. So, when one gets to that stage, you are now living truly by the Spirit. Your soul controls your body. Your body doesn't control your soul. So therefore, you're living purely by the soul. And this is where we're going to get into how the soul has evolved. Because when Hashem said, let us make man in our image, he did not say, let us make a body. He said, let us make a soul. So we'll get into it. 2 Corinthians. We demolish arguments and every pretension that sets itself up against the knowledge of God, and we take captive every thought to make it obedient to Christ. So that's controlling the mind first. And Timothy says that they will come to their senses and escape from the trap of the devil who has taken them captive to do his will. So this is not a new thing that the rabbis are speaking of. I'm just right now reading what the rabbis have said, and then we'll get into it. All right.
It also ties into that whole idea at the end of the Midrash, the parasha on Abimelech, that a lot of the rabbis are saying that the Abimelech of now is really the mind. It's not the physical king.
Correct. Amalek, yes. Amalek. Haman
So
is
it's still here, but it's a spiritual.
It's a spirit.
soul.
Yes, yes, that's correct. So you look at the word captive. I put it small, but in the Hebrew, if you look at it, it makes the word captive, but it also is the precious stone that is stuck onto the high priest's breastplate. There's always two folds. There's always a black and white, the yin and the yang, a positive and a negative to Hashem. So you see white fire on black fire, white fire and black fire, right? So when we get to Genesis, you see the white fire on black fire. That's what that's happening here. Hashem has always created a positive and a negative. One of the tasks of Mashiach in the early stages of his revelation is, in the words of Maimonides, he will wage the battles of God and succeed. At the end of the Messianic battle, Bnei Israel will find restored all the precious spoils that were taken by the nations during the exile. First and foremost among them, the set-apart temple. Matthew 27, the death of Yeshua, 45. From noon until the 3 o'clock, darkness came over the land. About 3 in the afternoon, Yeshua cried out in a loud voice, Eli, Eli, lema sabachthani, which means, my God, why have you forsaken me? And when Yeshua had cried out in a loud voice, he gave up his spirit, his ruach. At that moment, the curtain of the temple was torn in two from top to bottom. The earth shook, the rock split, and the tombs were broken. The bodies of many set-apart people who had died were raised to life. Pay attention here. They came out of the tombs after Yeshua's resurrection. After Yeshua's resurrection, and went into the set-apart city and appeared to many people. When the centurion and those who with him who were regarding Yeshua saw the earthquake and all that has happened, they were terrified and exclaimed, "Surely he was the son of Elohim." Now, resurrection is this is funny. It's stuck in. So they're all resurrected, and then so after Yeshua resurrection, this is something you have to slow down. So we've got our own Brit Hadashah Hebrew here. Please borrow it, but not borrow it. Don't take it home, but please use it to study if you come here. It is the Hebrew and the English. Yes. So it's very good for us. Okay. So that basically gets you the Hebrew word so that you can understand it a bit more. But we're just going. This is something you have to help me with because I don't understand how this is happening here. And last week we said that this could be after, when he raised after 3 days and 3 nights. But because they stuck this here, and they came out of the tombs and went into the holy city, that's fine. That's fine. But when Matthew puts this in, it is something happened to his soul.
So after this resurrection of the soul as opposed to the body. What about that?
So how do
So
you read that?
we're talking about, it's all about the spiritual realm. His soul was resurrected.
Yes.
His physical body is still in the tomb.
Yes. So he has resurrected with them. Yes?
We're talking spiritual.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when his body is in the tomb, was his body in the tomb?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The body was in
Yeah.
the
Okay. It's a funny question. They carry his body, put it in the tomb. But if he was already resurrected, he doesn't need that body anymore. So that body could just disappear, right? His body did not come back into the soul did not come back into the body.
Yeah.
Well, what this resurrection means,
It is
of the body,
Coming.
is of the body.
It is the body.
So
Yes. So what I'm saying is, if Yeshua resurrected, right, and he had a new body, right? This body that's lying in the tomb would have still lied in the tomb.
no.
He would
But it wasn't
no.
there.
He
That's what I'm
wasn't
saying.
there.
That's
How
what I'm
can
saying.
he lie
I'm trying to
to
get you to understand.
But
There's two different types of image now. There's the physical body that's the image, and there's the image of the resurrected body. Right? Okay. And many people who had died were raised. They came out of their tombs and they went into the holy city and appeared to many people. Is this real flesh?
Yes.
Yes,
This is real flesh. They
Yeah.
raised from the tomb, real flesh, walking around the city.
zombies.
Okay, good. We got that's
But
one.
but
That's
they-
one.
But they did die again, those people who were
Yeah.
raised.
And it's not
So they didn't have
they had resurrected bodies.
The same ones as Yeshua, not the same. Yeah.
Well, no, this is a question. I'm
Okay.
putting it out
I
there.
was going to say, I don't know. Yeah.
So you're
Yeah.
saying
Yeah.
You're saying they raised. So my dad died. No, my father hasn't died yet. Don't say that. Someone died that we knew. They raise up and they start to live again. Is that what you're saying? And then they died in 1980, and now it's 2018. So Yeshua, let's say this happened.
Yeah.
They're raised from the dead, and now they just assume that normal life as a human being again, like Lazarus.
Well, that's what.
Is that what you're thinking?
That's what I'm not sure about. Is
Okay, good. That's one. Good.
So well, the other one is, I think, those were the first fruits of the resurrection, and
Right.
the sort of Christian interpretation is, that Yeshua then took them up.
Great. So Yeshua took them up. So they are not bodies, or they're bodies, but he's taken them up.
It's their spirits.
Okay, so spirits. Okay, I just want to know
It's not
what we mean by after and what's resurrection. So you're resurrected, but what type of body do we have? A physical one? Is it a spiritual one? And you're walking around the city. So
Spiritual one.
Well, it's a physical body, but it's changed. It's different.
No.
okay.
It might be sort of like some people see ghosts sort of thing.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, so
Yes.
like wouldn't be a ghost, but that type of a spiritual person where their body as a human has died,
Yes.
but they're able as a spiritual being now.
This will make this would make the news in Jerusalem, right? This will hit Jerusalem Post if this event happened, right? There'll be books on this stuff if people were living after they died and resurrected.
But if Yeshua's resurrection is to allow us to have the same resurrection, when he returned, when he resurrected, he had a flesh and blood body again.
That's what I'm saying. This is where we're trying to understand this
So then
point.
surely these people
If-
were the same.
If he after Yeshua's resurrection, this bold bit here does not fit in well. If you can read that and then continue, and that's fine. Yes.
I think when you resurrect, the old is gone, the new is in you. So your spirit is totally different from what you had.
You were,
If you're resurrecting with Yeshua, but if you're not resurrecting, if you're in the world, it's different. It's just the old body. But this one, it's like having the new body. Yeah, that's in the spirit. It's only given to those who believe in the spirit. Only.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when he was taken to the tomb, 3 days time, he physically wasn't there.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So we have to
look at this.
work out how we resolve that. How
That
do we
correct.
understand
This is
that?
where I don't understand it. Did he go back into his body? Because they found the tomb empty. Because the two men picked up the body and they did Passover 1 month late, right? They put his body in the tomb. Yeshua's separated from his body. Why go back to your old body?
He can't.
Because
I think for him, being resurrecting in the body, it was a fulfillment of the prophecy, so that the prophecy will be true. That the son
Yes.
of Elohim
Correct.
will come and again will rise, and everybody will have to see that. So I think by him doing that, it was just a fulfillment of
Correct.
Isaiah's
Very good.
prophecy. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And the old body is not the old body anymore.
No.
It's a new body.
It's
Okay.
a new body.
So that doesn't mean it's not what was originally the old decaying
Okay.
body, but that is renewed. It's a
Renewed,
whole
but still
new-
has its scars?
Yes.
Yes.
It
So-
does.
Still has its scars.
This is why they didn't actually recognize him in Acts when he was with
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, and the
Okay,
only
okay,
people
okay.
who recognized him is the disciple, and sometimes they did not until he
Not
told them,
all.
"I'm
all
here.
the
I
disciples.
came so that it can be a fulfillment of
Yes.
the prophecy."
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, where I was about to take you is Ephesians chapter 4, unity and maturity in the body of Mashiach. As a prisoner for the Adonai, then I urge you to live a life worthy of calling you and receive. But you be completely humble and gentle, be patient, bearing with one another in love. Make every effort to keep the unity of the Spirit through the bonds of shalom. There is one body, one Spirit. There is one body and one Spirit.
Yeah.
Just as you were called to one hope, and when you were called. One Adonai, one faith, one baptism, one Elohim, one Abir of all, who is over all and through all and in all. But to each of us, grace has been given through Mashiach, apportioned it. This is why Elohim says, now this is fascinating, when he ascended on high, he took many captives and gave gifts to his people. I don't know why Paul would chuck this in, assuming that that's talking about Matthew.
Yeah, I was wondering whether that's what it is, yeah.
And he's talking about this word captive again. He's using the captive word, the word exactly as we're using the word here. Shavor. Okay? The same as the nets of the fish. Yeah? Okay.
So before you move on to the net and fish, in Ephesians he's speaking to essentially people living in pagan Greek culture. So he has to establish that whole idea of one God,
Correct.
one Yeshua.
Correct.
Just go back to it.
Correct.
So he has to really hammer that home because these guys are all being confused by a whole culture of paganism.
Yes.
And different gods with different agendas and so on. So that's the basically a Jewish there's nothing there.
That's the foundation.
Yes.
That's the foundation.
So, but he's,
Yes.
yes, and he's not doing it in a Christian sort of replacement theology. He's actually getting back to
One
Jewish
body.
basics.
One body.
Yeah.
It's not two different groups.
But he is speaking to believers who are a bit confused and maybe challenged about all the different things going on. So, and then he's bringing into the notion of Yeshua, and then he's coming back to this bit about which a lot of them would have been ostracized, maybe put in jail or whatever as well. So that's possibly where the captive thing comes in as well.
Yes.
But he's talking about spiritual captivity.
Yes.
So the thing that I'm still, it's in here, but the thing I'm thinking about is the physical body leaves the tomb, but I also believe in ghosts because I've had a bit to do with ghosts, so I know that ghosts are real. So I know that the spiritual existence of Yeshua can be spiritual. Same with Adam. So it's this transition we've got to get our head around.
Yeah.
So what about Lazarus then?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I mean, that's pre the resurrection of Yeshua.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
yeah, where do you put? He's another character.
Yes.
In this discussion.
That's just Yeshua flexing his muscles.
There's no mention after that.
What he did.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
right. What
Yes.
happened after each
Yes.
one.
But Yeshua was trying to prove a point here, and because today we're talking about the captive. When you go to war, you're going to be captive. It's not just when you go to war, out to war against your enemies, and Hashem, your God, will deliver you into your hands, and you'll capture his captives. There's more to this verse. So we're really digging into this verse and how it applies with the Brit Hadashah.
So is the wife story about the wife really the answer? The way you treat the wife.
Oh no, this is totally
The
more than
captive
that.
wife.
More than that. Yes.
Do you mean by captive, like how I understand from that verse, the captive, it doesn't mean that it's only a war. No, it means that these are the people who are in the world, and their eyes are still closed. They don't know of the truth. Yeah, like the way he's insisting on one Elohim, one Yeshua. He's just insisting that these are not three gods.
No.
It is one. Yeah.
Yes.
So he's saying for those who are captive are those people who are put aside and they have not seen the truth. Yeah. They're
Yes.
still doing the old. They're still doing the bad. Let me just call that that way. Anyway, it's not good.
So
They're still doing So they've not crossed the bridge of knowing the
They've
truth
decided.
and
Yes.
decided. Yeah.
So
These are the
the
captives.
people who are taken up after Yeshua, were they believers in Hashem or Yeshua, or were they just dead people who had a chance then to believe in Hashem through Yeshua's death and resurrection?
We're not told much. We're not told any more than this.
You
We're
would
not told.
assume they were righteous people.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would assume it.
Yeah, but we still gonna go under judgment. It's gonna be there.
Did he?
Yeah.
Yeshua come
raised
He's
to.
still gonna have
judgment,
that
yeah.
judgment for
Yeah.
the second time, and everything will be out for
Did he
everybody.
come to take
Yeah.
all the builders who built the temple? All the prophets?
That's metaphoric.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that he can build.
Figure real
Okay, remember he's going away to do something, right? He hasn't just disappeared for 2,000 years.
So because if
Yeah,
he's
because-
died and risen and so on,
Yes.
for everybody, then I'm thinking then the people who are in basically hara, basically in judgment, shell, whatever, they've got the opportunity to now come before Hashem
Yes.
But
because
that,
of Yeshua. That's
All right,
why
let's-
they had to do it after.
Let's move on. Resurrection to me is rebirth, and it's called Kam Lit Letichya, raised to resurrection, and you can find that in Romans 8:34. Resurrection is only talked about in the Brit Hadashah. It's not anywhere in the Chumash, the 5 books, or the prophets. Okay, relating to Lazarus, which is Martha said, "I know he will rise again in the resurrection at the last day." But Yeshua turns around and says, "So I am the resurrection and the life, and the one who believes in me will live even though they die." So that is a reassurance for us, and we have to understand that this is not just an easy insurance policy that Yeshua is making up here. He's saying to us, you have to be willing to pick up your stake and follow me. If you don't do that, you are not worthy to be my Talmudim. That's very crucial here. He's not just giving anyone a free pass. It's not a free pass. In the rabbinical sense, this is a teacher and student relationship here. If I don't know you, then who are you to me? This is what he's saying here, really. Okay? That's how it is. Verse 10, when that goes to battle against thy enemies and other night, that God delivers them into thy hands and thy carries them away. So you can see all the words, the letters in red that I've done there, yes?
Yes.
You go on and do that yourself. And if you add that up, it's fascinating, okay? So, remember I gave you an app called, remember, did I give you an app? I gave you that app there, that allows you to add it all up. Okay, it's called Notarikal. You can download that now. And what that does is it helps you to add in gematria. So let's say I want to know the number of Yod Hey Vav Hey. I go Yod Hey Vav Hey, and we know 26. Oh, now I know something. If you go to Israel and you don't know, you look at a word that looks like Av, and you go, how do I, you just type it in. It helps you. Okay, so that's that one. Get that one because we're going into some bit gematria here. So let's continue. Why did the rabbis choose this verse as the first verse of this Torah portion? It's fascinating. It's chapter 21, but they chose this as the first verse. And we have to understand this is very important. Things just don't happen for a reason. There is a reason. They're alluding to you to something. If you add up the first letters of each word, it totals 446. Yeah? 446. 446 makes the word hang and die. Yeah? Talan means to hang. And mut, die. Who was hanged and died? So this is just verse 10 we're in here. Alright? I'm just giving you a glimpse now. The rabbi talks about the soul and the evil inclination and all that. We're getting into why was this verse given? What is in this verse? I'm going to rip it apart. Sorry. That's all right. Alright. The truth. Ha-emet adds up to 446.
Amen.
The truth. The truth adds up to 446. Okay. The truth is also an anagram of Ma'et. Ma'et meaning who is the Aleph and the Tav. Whoa, this is just verse 10. And we're not even going to verse 11 yet. Like, oh my goodness, this is like exciting stuff. But a lot of people go, what are you talking about? Who is the Ma? Ma means Ma. When they picked up the manna, Ma. They go, what is it? So they call it Mana.
Your hay and your M around the wrong way.
Oh yes, that's Hebrew for you. When you do Hebrew, it jumps. It's on. Okay, so anyone who's done Hebrew and computer, you know it jumps.
The other thing about truth, if you go back to this, the Hey is the first letter, the Mem is the middle letter,
Yes.
and the Tav is the last
yeah.
letter. It's perfect, is
The
exactly.
Aleph Tav is within
Oh,
it.
Yes.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then if you look at the meanings of all three,
Yes.
and when Yeshua said, "I'm the Aleph," he actually said, "I'm the way, the truth, and the life,"
Yes.
which is basically each letter has that meaning.
You see,
Crazy.
the great thing about Hebrew, you see how the mem is not closed? So what Yeshua is saying, my truth is open to everybody. It's not concealed for you. I talk in parables, but my aim is to let you know the living water. And mem means my water, right? So my water will flow to you if you accept this truth.
Yeah.
That's what the truth is. I am the way, the truth. All right? The answer, therefore, is, okay, so who is the Aleph and the Tav? The answer is therefore contained within the question. So now, when you take the last letters of each word, now you take the last letters of each word and you add that up, yes? It adds up to 523. And guess what 523 adds up to? Alphabet.
Aleph.
And alpha and the Aleph and the Tav. The Aleph and the Tav. He's giving you so much in verse 10. Like, this is who I am, my son, his DNA. So it's like you taking a DNA of someone and you're looking in the microscope and the DNA is saying, wow, this is all alluding to just verse 10 of who this captive person is. When you go to war, yes, your Yetzer Hara, your evil inclination, when you go to war, you're going to war with this person here, the Aleph and the Tav. That's essentially what it is. Yes? And the name Yeshua. So when you break out Yeshua, Yod, so this is another way of doing, finding the DNA of the Mashiach. Yod, Shin, Vav, Ayin. You add all that up, 523. Again, the total words in the first verses of the total words in the first verses of the 5 books adds up to 523. So he is the Torah. He is the beginning, the Aleph. Now imagine when you take the total words in the last verses of the 5 books, that will even paint you the picture of Mashiach. All right? So that's just something to share to your friends. Was that cool?
Yeah.
I don't know, there's more cool stuff, but if that's cool, okay, let's go on. Now, verse 12. We've got a baby being birthed. And when I say baby, what do I mean?
New word.
A new word. וחבאתה אל תוך ביתך וגילחה את ראשה עד את תספנך. And thou shalt bring her home to thy house, and she shall shave her head and pare her nails. And we've got a baby here. Zeporin, fingernails. That word. This word, up to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 21, verse 12, is being birthed right now. This is a brand new baby being birthed right now. It's amazing. And Hashem is saying, I'm birthing this word today. I want you to pay attention to who this baby is. And that baby makes the word fingernail. All right? And it's only mentioned twice. One in the book of Deuteronomy and another one in Jeremiah. All right? But it is the nails. All right?
Can I just share that
Yes.
my little grandchild to be is growing its fingernails right at the moment. Just saying.
Oh, wow.
All right.
Can I just ask, the nails in Jeremiah, is that referring to fingernails?
No, a pointer. This.
Okay.
This is 2 times your fingernails and your nails grabbing onto the pointer, or when you don't have one, you use your nails, right?
Yeah.
Why do we use our nails to point at the word? Like, oh, look at that. This is fascinating. Why we use our nails? It's not just let's just use a fingernail, like trim my fingernails. Hang on, you capture this girl, and you trim her fingernail. Odd. It's odd. There must be more than this. Okay, let's go. The fingernails represents the Kibli pot, the husk of the impurity that attaches itself to and obscure the divine nitzot, sparks. It is customary for people to clip their nails on the eve of Shabbat as an act of purification. Why the nails? the finger, metaphorically at least, Adonai has 10 fingers. These are the 10 utterances God made at creation, the 10 words. The fingers of the human hand have a number of occult associations. According to the Testament of Solomon, demons were vampirically sucked the thumbs of children, causing them to waste and die. The use of fingernails for the purpose of divination is a long-standing Jewish practice. One uses the light of the Haftorah candle, marking the end of Shabbat, to gaze into one's own nails. Young girls do this in hope of seeing the face of the man they will marry. But earlier authorities held that all kinds of omens, for good or for ill, could be detected in the reflection. Conversely, there is a belief that cutting one's nails can adversely affect memory unless a specific order of trimming is followed, starting from the left hand, beginning with the finger for ring, and end with the thumb, and accordingly doing 1, 2. Okay, I'm just there. Fingernails can be used in magical formula and most dangerously in witchcraft. And careful disposal of trimmings is therefore imperative. If a pregnant woman comes in contact with a fingernail paring, the impurity adhering to the paring will adversely affect the fetus. White spots on the nails are considered a good omen. So that's just all about fingernails. And our B'nai Israel, they are very careful about their fingernails. Very careful. And that is true. When they cut their nails, they actually bury it or they burnt it. They don't leave it anywhere. That's all from them. This is B'nai Israel's practice.
It's funny how, a lot of people are into their nails.
Yes.
Like women, they have their nails done, and they're very fastidious about their nails.
Yes.
And they have all these different colours. They paint them all differently.
Yes.
Well, they put fake things.
Yeah, they do. But I mean, I think they're
to make it beautiful, right?
yeah, but they're sort of fascinated by it.
Yes.
And
Because that's what they had. That's what we had. So on Haftorah, when you light your candle, you're looking into it, because subconsciously your DNA and your body is saying to you, this is who I was. Remember, the Talmud says that we were covered in the nails, the skin of the nail. Imagine your nail, but it grew the whole lot. And imagine every light source that shone on you, you shine back because the nail is reflective. Yeah? And he's talking about the white spots is a good omen. That's actually like Moses putting his hand into his chest and taking it out. This is your nails become pure white. This is the glimpse that they're talking about. So they do hold their nails at Haftorah and they look into it. So you're saying to them, yourself, why do you do this? So if you're looking at your nails as a woman who is Jewish today, are you not saying to yourself that you are captive? Because you've fallen, which is due to Eve or Hava, and you are captive within this body. This body is a prison, and you're longing to return back. And the reason why the law of cutting the nails is because you always somehow for thousands of years you long to do that, and over time it's just become a tradition or a custom. But inside you're not aware that you're doing this.
So before you were talking about, I don't know if you're going to go where you're going with this, but the woman had to have a haircut. So to me, it's all about the getting rid of the pagan culture. So she's had her hair cut, and she's had her fingernails, and you said in that when you cut your fingers, you forget. So it's about forgetting her pagan, because she's going to move into the body of Israel, so she has to give up all that vanity, all the vanity, the same as men weren't allowed to shave because they weren't like wanting to be like the Egyptians. They had to shave their head. They didn't want them to be shaven headed like the Egyptians. So to me, it's about, and we were talking last night about this too, that it talks about genitalia and so on, but making it, whenever you're putting tattoos or incision or anything, body piercings, whatever it is, it's that whole pagan thing. And so what they're trying to do is remove it. That's right, it's interesting in our world. What are we doing? We're getting tattoos, getting body piercings, we're having weird haircuts, we want to grow our nails long, we're doing all that stuff that Torah says don't do.
Yes.
Very interesting.
Correct. Yes, Jeremy.
I was just checking, and so the verse says that she is to grow her nails.
Ah,
I read that. Oh, can I go on?
very good.
Because some say cut and some say grow. Now
Yes.
I read a totally different translation and understanding of this
Yes.
last night. So when the man is out at war and he sees a beautiful woman from the people that he's fighting against, instantly he wants to just take her like that. And we see that even today in war. So what has to happen, rather as a Jewish man, he's not allowed to just take a woman instantly. She has to have her head shaved to make her unattractive. She has to grow ugly long fingernails to make her unattractive. She has to have her beautiful robes of her other culture removed, and she has to have awful clothing put on, and she has to sit for a month bawling her eyes out and looking horrible. And then if he wants her after that, so that he's not looking at her physically but coming to know her as a person, if he then wants to take her as his wife after that because he loves her as a person, then he can take her as his wife, which is like just putting that complete shield up against the instant lust, of a
Haven't
beautiful
seen a
woman.
woman for fun.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because then we go on to look about, you have the wife that you like and the wife you don't like, the ugly one, the beautiful one, whatever the reason, and so everything's very, it's about the heart and about the relationship. It's not about the physical.
Not about the physical.
Gloss.
All right, good. We got that off our chest. All right. The Gemara taught that the procedure of Deuteronomy 21, 12 to 13 applied only when the captive did not accept the commandments. Did not. So if she did accept the Torah and says, your God is my God, your people is my people, then you'll freely come in. But if you whinge and whine, we have to go through this process. For if she accepted the commandment, then she would be immersed in a ritual bath, mikveh, and she and the soldier could marry immediately. Rabbi Eliezer interpreted the words, and she shall shave her head and do her nails, to mean that she was to cut her nails. Reason, specify an act with respect to the head and an act with respect to the nails, and as the former meant removal, so should the latter. But Rabbi Akiva interpreted the words to mean that she was to let them grow. Reason that Deuteronomy 21:12 specified disfigurement for the head, so it must mean disfigurement for the nails as well. That's two schools of thought, yes? But the same verse. Verse 12, and the total value of pair, her nails, is 435. That one up there. Okay, connects us again to Mashiach. Have you noticed that the aleph that's in between?
Yeah.
They're fascinating if you study it. Why are you talking about? Okay, remember, verse 10, we saw Mashiach in that. And then verse 12, 11, we have to see Mashiach in it as well. And it's fascinating. You've got the aleph, two alephs in the middle there, talking about the head and the nails.
There's three aleph tablets.
Well,
there's three.
We'll talk about that another day, but we've been talking a lot about the aleph tav. It's actually a form of, it's all about, it's a grammatical for the direct object. So,
and it's intensifying when it's not actually used as the, so it's not actually connected to the word, and it's that standalone aleph tav. It actually intensifies the substance of the word that's following. So it's not quite the same as we think of just a definite article.
Yeah. The words, the kingship and the priesthood and the birthright equals 435. All right. So you can go home and you can add that together and you can check for me. The words and a holy nation adds up to 435. Remember, it's all coming from this word up here. Yeah. Zepporah, yeah. You can find that. We know how I'm getting that, right? Everyone knows how I'm getting that? Okay. The Mashiach, the prince. Ha-Mashiach, ha-Nagid. The Mashiach, the prince.
So really it's Mashiach, prince.
Mashiach ben David. Mashiach, ben David adds up to 435. This is all alluding to the nails here. The nails. Why? Remember, the nails is born today. Yeah? The word nail is born today, and within that word nail, the gematria all adds up to these words. Okay. It also adds up to the word nefesh, the soul. Yes? Nefesh, the soul. When Jerusalem merits to bring down the two holy souls, Mashiach ben Yosef, which is the gematria 567, and Mashiach ben David, gematria 435, the two Mashiach gematrias add together to equal 1002. 1002 makes the word the great king city, which is the Beit, which is Jerusalem, which is Jerusalem Jerusalem of gold. What's the Hebrew word? Jerusalem Shel Zahav. The great king city. That all alludes to the two Mashiach, the total of the two Mashiach. Okay? Park that there, because we're talking about the dove. Because really, all this is talking about one specific being. Okay, we'll get there. As the root word, Zephaniah is bird. Zepor is bird. You know where I'm getting that from? The one in red? So okay. The word Zepor, bird, spells in its full form is equivalent to the value of Yeshua. How so? Well, you add that up. If you add up the name of Yeshua, adds up to 386, and you add up the word bird, it adds up to 386. So it's alluding to Yeshua, which is the bird, alright?
Has anyone heard of the shop Zipporah?
The shop Zipporah?
The fashion shop in Europe called Zipporah.
Yes.
It's actually a beauty shop.
Yes.
So it's making me think that it's owned by
James
Jewish
Packer's ex-girlfriend named her name to Zipporah. I can't remember her real name.
Kate.
Oh, yeah,
Kate.
too.
She converted to Judaism.
But didn't she? She's gone right off the rails.
Oh,
yeah.
I don't know which Judaism that is. Reform.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Alright. Alluding to the story.
So it's called fingernails.
Alluding to the story of one who tried to capture the golden dove, but instead captures the egg, the young. The Baal Shem Tov, the man with a good name, was once praying with his Hasidim, his disciples. That day he prayed with great concentration, not only word by word, but letter by letter, so that the others finished long before he did. At first they waited for him, but before long they lost patience, and one by one left him. Later the Baal Shem Tov came to them and said, "While I was praying, I ascended to the ladder of your prayers all the way into paradise, Eden. As I ascended, I heard a song of indescribable beauty. At last I reached the palace of the Mashiach in the highest heavens, known as the bird's nest. The Messiah was standing by his window, peering out of a tree of great beauty. I followed the gaze and saw that his eyes were fixed on a golden dove, whose nest was in the top branches of that tree. That is when I realized that the song pervading all of paradise was coming from this golden dove. And I understood that the Mashiach could not bear to be without that dove and its song for as much as a moment. Then it occurred to me that if I could capture the dove and bring it back to this world, the Mashiach would be sure to follow. So I ascended higher until I was within arm's reach of the golden dove. But just as I reached it, the ladder of prayers collapsed."
Oh, no.
Chapter 21, about the captive, yes, it's about this woman, but it's all alluding to the commandment of the mother bird. I'm leading you from verse 10 all the way to why the mother bird. Now, this mother bird commandment, the rabbis say, when we fully understand this commandment, he will appear. This is the one. Because this commandment it's an odd one. They have no idea what it is. But I'm giving you all this foundation before I hit you with this mother bird. Yes, because the mother bird comes into chapter 21 as well. All right? And this is the one I shared to you about the golden dove. That this rabbi wants to bring Mashiach down. All right? The golden dove relates to when you... Let's go. So therefore, when the word bird has the same value as Yeshua, we have to pay attention to this. This is, The Zohar and other Kabbalistic writings draw from its text related Mashiach to a bird. The Or HaChaim explains that one of Mashiach's name is Zipporah. It is written that the soul of Mashiach exists on the outskirts of the Garden of Eden in a place called the Hechel Chen Pitzor, the bird's nest. Hechel Chen Pitzor. Chen. Kav and Nun. Kohen. The word Kohen means Chen. When you say to a Kohen, and his reply has to be yes. That's where Kohen comes from. Kohen. Chen. Yes? No?
Ken.
This term speaks of the Shekinah which both envelops his neshama and flies about the garden. It is said that from his abode in the bird's nest, he lifts his eyes and sees the patriarchs returning to the ruins of the Beit HaMikdash, the temple, the tear-streaked face of Rachel Imenu, his mum. That's a giveaway. The tear-streaked face of Rachel Imenu repeatedly flashes before him. Mashiach cries out, and the Garden of Eden is shaken from one end to the other. The voices of all the Zedekim, the righteous, joining his lament. This is Revelation he's talking about here. Shakes the heavens beyond the garden until it reaches the highest throne. Oh, this is all from the sages. I'm not making this up. The sages understood that the Gol Eli, the Redeemer of Israel, would be revealed only after this missing Enik Nefesh soul made its descent from the bird's nest, coming to rest upon one whom would be revealed as Mashiach. This is spoken of as the Netzer, the crowning of the Redeemer, and marks the point of his life when he would begin his messianic ministry.
Whoa.
And they can't see him today. Oh my goodness. I said, are you kidding? You guys are writing this stuff. They actually don't even read this themselves. You know that, right? They don't read it.
They don't believe that it actually happened with Yeshua. They think it was just made up to make it fit with this sort of thing.
Okay.
It's interesting, you know, really, in a way, they're seeing Talmud the same as many Christians see Brit. It's just a commentary.
Yeah.
They don't really get into the depth and that.
Therefore, in Matthew 3:17, when the dove extended the back call, the voice of the dove, this is my beloved son, whom I am well pleased. This is all him. Nearly 2 millenniums ago, Yeshua traveled from Galilee to northern Israel to be immersed by Yochanan Hamabi, Yochanan Hamabi, Elijah Hamabi, the prophet, a relative who had been instructed by heavenly decree to immerse the sons of Israel until he saw a dove descend upon one of them. This holy Jew was the Mashiach. It is written that when our Mashiach rose from the water, the Ruach HaKodesh was seen descending on him as a dove. The identity of Mashiach was revealed through water is significant. The first time the soul of Mashiach was seen interacting with the chaos of the world is found at the beginning of the book of Bereshit, Genesis. The Torah relates that while the world was yet formless and void, covered by darkness on the face of the deep, the Ruach Elohim hovered like a bird upon the face of the waters. This Ruach Elohim is said to be that of Mashiach.
So that was Mashiach.
Yeah, and the Spirit of Elohim hovered. A bird, yes. There's two birds. There's one that's called the raven, which when we get to the part where when you build a brand new home, you shall put fences on your roof. That is alluding to the raven, because the devil took Yeshua all the way to the top of the temple.
Yeah.
He's the dove and he's the raven.
Yeah.
This is fascinating. Yes, and the book of Job, Enoch. Read it. Okay. After his crowning with the Messianic soul, Yeshua spoke of himself using the language of a bird. While standing upon the Mount of Olives, Mashiach lamented over Jerusalem, saying, again and again, would I have taken your children to myself as a mother bird gathers her young ones up under her wing, but you would not. Here Mashiach speaks of one desire to gather Israel. He is detained only by our refusal to be redeemed. This is from Psalms 68:13. While you sleep among the sheep pens, the wings of my dove are covered with silver, its feathers with shining gold. This is the golden dove that David was longing for. All right. Let's go to verse 11 now, backtracking. And you will see among its captive a woman who is taken of beautiful form, Yafat. So when you say to a beautiful woman, you're fat, it means she's beautiful. You're fat, yeah, you're fat means you're beautiful, right?
Yeah.
Don't take offense when I say you're fat. It means you're very beautiful. It's right there. You're fat.
Yafat.
You're fat. You're fat. All right. You're fat. You're fat. You're fat. All right. It means it's. And you will desire her, and you will take her for yourself for a wife. This is a great, but it's not what it is. It's alluding to Mashiach again. Okay. Yaakov was talking with a friend about his love life. I thought I had found the perfect woman, Yaakov said. She was beautiful and had the most pleasing features a man could imagine. She was exceptional. Exceptional is Yosef Dafin. Yosef Dafin is exceptional. That's the word, Yosef Dafin. It means children who are cesarean by birth are Yosef Safin. Yosef, they're exceptional. In the Jewish context, children who are born by cesarean, they're exceptional. Okay. She was exceptional in every way except she had no knowledge. So I traveled further and met a woman who was beautiful, both beautiful and intelligent, but at last who couldn't communicate. After further travels, I met a lady who had everything: perfect mind, perfect intelligence, and a great beauty. All the features I was looking for. But what happened? Asked a friend. Why didn't you marry her at once? Well, Yaakov said, as luck would have it, she was looking for the perfect man.
That is wonderful.
Ben, why is it with that cesarean thing again? Why is it the exceptional?
Because one, the law of inheritance come into play. The law of inheritance say that you must pass through the mother. So you got two boys. One child is cesarean. The question is, was he born through the mother? Did he come through naturally?
Yeah.
And the second son, he came through naturally. The second son can use Torah and say, well, legally, you weren't born through my mother's womb. Technically, I'm the first son. Therefore, the firstborn will lose his inheritance. And the word exceptional is funny. You understand what I just said?
Exceptional doesn't necessarily mean that person
It's
is
extraordinary.
superior in
Correct.
some way. The child is an exception.
Yes.
So,
Yes. That's what it means. You understand what?
Our James was exceptional.
I've got two.
Oh, exceptional can mean both ways. It can mean both ways. That's exceptional. But did that answer your question? That Torah law, and so it comes with inheritance of only the males get inheritance, and then we find that the man who picked up the sticks, he had 5 daughters, and they complained to Moses. So the law had to change. So law can change when Mashiach is here. He will think about it for a moment. He goes, "Well, you guys make perfect sense," and then he will write that down. But that's the law, and that's the law. Okay, the Gemara states that although Rabbi Kayeh's wife mistreated him, he would bring her presents. In puzzlement, Rab asked, "But she causes agony to our teacher." To which Rabbi Kayeh replied, "It is significant that sufficient that she raises our children and she saves us from sin." Regarding the Yefat Torah, women of beautiful form. Do you guys understand what I just said there?
Yes.
Okay, women were created to be a helper, ozer, helper. You help men in many ways without us being aware. One is, yes, to raise children, and two is to take us away from the evil. When they say sin, men are attracted by eyes. We are lustful creatures.
Yeah.
So having a wife who helps us control that or helps us, that's what the rabbis are saying. All right? And that's the reason why Bnei Israel has lots of children, because that's Bnei Israel. Regarding the Yefet Torah, women of beautiful form, the Torah predicts that ultimately the child born from this marriage would end up being a Ben Soreh Umoreh, a wayward and rebellious son. So we're getting to the son now. First, while all wives provide at least 2 benefits to the husband, raising the children and saving him from sin, in this case, however, the husband may be spared improper thoughts caused by the evil inclination, but he will not derive through her the benefit of having his children raised properly. Okay, verse 14. And it shall be, if thou have no delights in her, then thou shalt let her go, whether she will, but thou shalt not sell her for all the money, for thou shalt not deal with her as a slave, because thou hast humbled her. Okay? Rashi writes, Scripture informs you that eventually you will hate her. Where is the evidence for this in the parasha? When a man marries a woman, he gives her a ketubah, a marriage contract. If he develops a hatred for her, he gives her a get, which is a divorce. In each document, the date is essential. In a ketubah, the wording is so many days le kodesh, to the months of whatever. And in a get, the wording is so many days le yerach, to the month of. The reason for the following names for the month is as follows. The word kadesh is related to the word kadash, new. And since when speaking of marriage, the Torah says ki yichach ish isha kadesha, when a man marries a new wife. Hence, in the marriage contract for his new wife, the month is called kodesh. The process of releasing oneself and his wife from this covenant of marriage is known as a gereshim. Since in the Torah there is the expression geresh yarachim, right, which means the yield of the moons. We assume that it is a hint that when one is preparing a document of gereshim, divorce, the term used for month is yerech. Okay, gereshim. Okay, yerech. Although the Torah permits bringing home a captive woman, it is not happy about it. Happy about it and hope that the captive's desire will ultimately evaporate and he will send her away. Hence, the Torah prescribes that when he brings home this captive woman, she must make herself unattractive and sit in mourning for Yerech Hamin, a full month. And the term Yerech, which is commonly used in a divorce document, is used here as an indication that ultimately he will divorce himself from her and send her away. Okay, it's very deep there. This is all alluding to the bird again. Okay, it's about sending away the mother bird. Okay, it's giving you hints to get to the final bit. Verse 17. But he shall acknowledge the firstborn, the son of the hatred, by giving him a double portion of all that he hath. For he is the beginning of his strength, and the right of his birthborn is his. Okay, I might lose you a bit here because I didn't know where I was going with this, but let's go there anyway. Midrash told that the Israelites came before Alexander the Great to dispute the birthright with Israel, accompanied by the Canaanites and the Egyptians. The Israelites based their claims on Deuteronomy 21:17. But he shall acknowledge the firstborn, the son of the hatred. You see about this? So when you're born a Caesarean, firstborn, the second son can argue this. It can argue this and win the whole inheritance based on being born through a natural birth. But he shall acknowledge the firstborn, the son of the hatred, and Ishmael was the firstborn. Gibeah, the son of Koshem, representing Bnei Israel, asked Alexander whether a man could not do as he wished to his sons. When Alexander replied that a man could, Gibeah quoted Genesis 25:5, and Abraham gave all that he had to Isaac. The Israelites asked where the deed of the gifts to his sons was. Gibeah replied by quoting Genesis 25:7, but to the sons of the concubine whom Abraham had, Abraham gave gifts. Thereupon the Israelites departed in shame. The Torah speaks of a man having 2 female partners. What happens if a woman has 2 male partners? Oh, you're quiet. Okay.
Oh, she can't have.
Oh, she did. She did. In the beginning, she did. But you guys are not told about it. Let's go there. Because I don't know why I'm teaching you guys this. It's about the woman. Incubus is a male spirit who copulates with human females while they sleep. The most famous example of this is Genesis 6:4. In the rabbinical literature, the single case is Samuel. That's his name. You know, that's Hasatan.
Yes,
Samuel. That's his name, all right? The adversary. It is said the serpent was the most cunning of evil beasts. The serpent looked like a camel, and Samuel mounted and rode it, possessed it. Then the serpent had relations with Eve, and she conceived Cain. Because she realized the serpent was not an earthly creature, but a heavenly being, she said, I have gained a man with God. Not Adam. Okay, you can go back and read this stuff. Often the demons will appear in a familiar form, usually the husband, but sometimes not, in order to get the woman's occupation. Demonic offsprings can result as well as a bayim, Shovayim, impoverished child, or clinging, changelings. The most famous example is the Jewish tradition involves women having intercourse with fallen angels. So that's not it. So this is the next witness. So the rabbis are saying, well, that's what happened to Eve, and this is what's happening with the fallen angels, when the angels saw the beautiful women of men. So it's not too far-fetched. That's what the rabbis are saying. All right. But she shall acknowledge the firstborn, the son of the hated, by giving him, Cain, a double portion of all that she has, for he, Cain, is the beginning of her strength, and the right of the firstborn is hers. So basically, I've just put the word he and she there from verse 17. Yeah? I'm just giving you now, the question was, if a male can have two wives, the Torah speaks of a man having two partners. What happens if a woman has two male partners? And Eve, one of them was Samuel, and the other was Adam. So it got a bit complicated here. The son of the beloved is symbolic of the first tablets of the Ten Commandments, which Hashem gave to Moses before Bnei Israel sinned with the golden calf and was broken. Okay? The son of the hated refers to the second set of tablets which were given after Bnei Israel repented and became Baal Shuvah. It means masters of returning to God. That's what Baal Shuvah means. So when you hear the rabbis talk about a Baal Shuvah, one who returns is really returned. All right. The first set of tablets contained only the Ten Commandments. The second set came with a double portion. How so? Not only the Ten Commandments, but all the details of halakha, the midrash, and the agadah. Agadah is the tales, the parables, and the customs and tradition. All right. He must recognize the firstborn to give him the double portion in all that is found with him. Why is the firstborn called a bechor? That's the one in brown. Bechor in Hebrew. According to the Torah, when a person dies, his estate is divided into equal parts, with the firstborn son receiving 2 parts, while each of the other sons receiving 1. For example, if a man has 3 sons, the eldest receives half, and the 2 others receive a fourth. The halakha of the firstborn receiving an additional portion applies only to the muzach, an estate that is present at the time of the father's death. If the father had bought a lottery ticket and after his death his ticket wins, the entire prize is divided equally among the 3 brothers. This is alluded to the word bechor. When you start the word bechor, it adds up to 2, 2, 2. Yeah? 2, 2, 2. Okay? The letter bait is numerically equivalent to 2 times the aleph that precedes it. The kaf is double the letter preceding it. Yeah? And the resh has the numerical value of 200, is double that of pay. Pay is 100.
That's cool.
Cool, of course. Thank you. Which precedes it. These are the only letters in the alphabet whose numerical values are double the letters they follow. First, the title of the firstborn is composed of these 3 letters, hinting to the fact that he receives a double portion. The bet, the kaf, and the resh are double the number value of the letter which precedes this. This is a hint that the bechor only receives a double portion of that which is already before the sons when the inheritance takes place, but not of that which only becomes available afterwards.
Wow.
That's law you need to know, because if you're going to reign in the kingdom of Mashiach, we're going to deal with a lot of inheritance stuff, and you need to know this stuff. Yeah. Now the bride adds up to 5, 5, 5. Kala, the bride adds up to kala, and the cherubims adds up to 277. When you add 277, 5, 5, it makes 222. So
take 55 off.
Oh yes, take 55. The gematria of 222 is revealed when the word bride is taken away from the word cherubim. Okay, 222 is exactly the word for the firstborn son. Okay, when Israel was obedient, the cherubim in the temple would lovingly turn their faces towards each other and embrace like a loving couple, alluding to the prince of the faces. And while Israel was in disobedience, the same cherubim would turn away from each other back to back, alluding to the prince of the back. That sheds light on the concept of Mashiach and his bride. When we are good, Mashiach leads us in front. When we are bad, Mashiach leads us at the back. Because when you have good sheep, the sheep follows the shepherd. You don't have to persuade them. But when you're bad sheep, he's always at the back, trying to tell you in. There's the 2 folds. When you read the story of the clouds, when you go back to the books and you see the cloud by day and the cloud by night, watch the position of where he is. You notice if he's angry or he's not angry. This is a sign to a characteristic of Mashiach. Yes? Okay. It's great to learn all this stuff. Okay, so Bechor, for Elohim so loved the world that he gave his firstborn son. That's where the word comes in, that whoever believes in him shall not perish but have eternal life. See, I set you before you this day a blessing and a curse. The word ra'ah, see, adds up to 222. All right, and you can find that. You can go home and study that. Let's go to verse 20. And they shall say unto the elders of the city, this our son is stubborn and rebellious. He would not obey the voice. He is a glutton and a drunkard. And we know they got this bit here because they had a contention with Mashiach. The Ben Ha'adam came eating and drinking, and they say, Hinei, a zoleh, golot, and a shocher, a drunkard, a friend of Mochezim, tax collectors, and Chotetim. Yet Chokmah is vindicated by her Ma'asah deeds. Rashi writes that the Ben Zoreh Umoreh, wayward and rebellious son, is put to death al she'im sofa because of his end. And what's that mean? The Torah has determined his final intention. Eventually, he will consume his father's wealth when he cannot maintain his extravagant habits. He will rob people. Consequently, the Torah said, let him die innocent and not die guilty. If Cain killed Abel on the counts of jealousy that Abel was birthed with two sisters who became his wives, and Cain was birthed with one wife, if Cain killed Abel on the counts of jealousy that he, Cain, had to share half of the world with Abel, Cain should have killed Adam, not Abel. Now, I know, see, I just read something that you guys go, what? They had sisters? Yeah, they did.
No, I know that.
Oh, you know that? Oh, very good. Okay, that was one of the main reasons why Cain killed Abel, because he was jealous that Cain had two sisters and he had one. All right. So when Eve, Kava was birthing 3 children. So it's not rare to have triplets, right? It's not rare to even have 8 kids. We know that women have had 8 kids at one time. Okay. So it's not rare. But remember, they had no wives at that time, so their sisters became their wives. If the jealousy was due to wives or land, killing Adam would have stopped future sons from entering the world. Therefore, Cain would have occupied Adam's wealth. But at last, Seth was born to replace Abel. So Cain should have killed them off. That's what the rabbis are saying. Cain should not have killed Abel. If that was the jealousy in him, he should have killed the head first. Chop the head, and he would rule the world.
So that's when they come back to Amalek again.
Yeah. All right. There's a great story, Midrash, about that. It's about Amalek talking to Cain. And this is the conversation. And Amalek said to Cain, look, you fool, you should have killed your dad. And we've succeeded in everything. Correct. Chop the head. And that's the reason why in Israel, the spiritual battle is the head. Of Israel, its head is the spiritual. So Amalek always tries to, like the Balaam, always tries to kill the head.
And Israel had its chance going into the promised land to do the same.
Yes.
Amalek, but it didn't.
Yes. The matriarch Sarah was displeased with Ishmael's behavior and demanded that Abraham chase him away altogether with his mother Hagar. While she was wandering in the wilderness of Beer-sheba, an angel appeared and told her, "Fear not, Elohim has heeded the cry of youth, Ba'asah Humsham in his present state." Rashi explains that the angels pleaded with Hashem not to perform a miracle for Ishmael because his descendants would persecute and murder Bnei Israel. Hashem refused to listen and judged Ishmael according to his present state, his deeds, and not according to what he would do in the future. Therefore, we always have time to change. Hashem always gives us time. Yeah. Even he knows that we might become a Hitler or a whatever in the future. He always gives us time to change. Why is the Ben Sohor, Sareh, Moreh, wayward and rebellious son treated harsher than Ishmael? In general, Hashem judges a person in accordance with his present state and first spared Ishmael's life. An exception to the rule is the case of the wayward and rebellious son, to whom Torah gives 2 descriptions, Zoreh and Moreh. The word Moreh can also mean a teacher. Not only does he conduct himself badly, but he is also teaching and influencing others to follow suit. If he kept his actions to himself, the Torah would not take such a harsh stance towards him. However, he is being judged Al Shim Sofor by the end part of his name. Since in addition to being a Soreh, one who turns away from Hashem, he is also a Moreh, teaching others and having a bad influence, and so he must be stopped immediately.
I was just looking that up. Is Moreh, because I knew the word Moreh, Morah as teacher, but is a negative? Is it a negative suffix, prefix? Because I'm thinking of Moreh, Morah as a positive teacher, instruction.
Yes.
If it means then it makes sense.
Where's the
Because the word is umore. So what's mean?
Oh, everyone's got a Hebrew Bible, right? Okay, I have to go back. Umore.
Umore. It's just and except the vowels.
Yeah.
The vav is turned to a vowel.
Okay, so I'm just wondering if the vav,
Probably Vemore, not Umore. The dot might be wrong.
The dot is
No, that's right. It's in the Bible. All right, that's something you guys can study. Yeah. Okay, let's go. 22 verse 5.
Makes sense of what it would be.
22 verse 5. Any questions? Yeah. Or you guys are hot. Is this okay? I'll close up soon. I can see everybody's a bit tired. 22 verse 5. A woman shall not wear that which pertains unto a man, neither shall a man put on a garment, woman's garment, for whoever does these things is abomination unto Adonai. Okay. I'm looking at the word ish. All right. This is another Hebrew word that hopefully one day you look into. De yochan, meaning form. De yochan. The idea form of a person. This elusive term refers to an image, seemingly shared spontaneously by God and a person. Wow, that's amazing. As the Torah puts it, it is the likeness that includes all likeness. Genesis 1:27. So Elohim created mankind in his image, Teze. In the image, he created them, male and female, he created them. Teze, image. Elohim as judge alone without the angels created the human beings. In a mold which was a Teze, De Yochan, form, image and form of Elohim. Elohim created the human being, one being both male and female, and which was subsequently divided into two beings. Elohim created them. In the Zohar, it is described as something that is bonded to the body at birth. It appears to a couple in sexual union, and if the relationship worthy, imprints upon the seed of the child generated by that union. Though invisible, the righteous can interact with this De Yochan, even see through its eyes, which gives the person the special sight of prophecy. Similar notions of a ghostly body or spiritual membrane that accompanies the material body. Tselem means image. In the Zohar, the later Jewish mysticism, the image of God mentioned in Genesis 1:26 is thought to refer to a specific dimension of the human being, a kind of spiritual membrane or an aura that mediates between the body and the soul. This shadow, tesel, cast by the human body is a visible effect of this aura, human energy field. The tesel, shadow, from Numbers 14:9, Guf Hadach, the pure body. Guf Hadach means pure body. This is the Kabbalistic concept also called the Zelim, of a containing field that surrounds the soul. So this is another body now. I'm talking about the soul now, what the soul will look like when you actually have one, when you're out of this body, when you're resurrected. Of a containing field that surrounds the soul after it has separated from the physical body. It is the physical body as it manifests on spiritual planes, different from an aura. This is the body that the soul dwells in while it resides in Eden or in Gehenna, hell. It conforms to the contours of the physical human shape, and it follows you wherever you go. You don't want to walk in a shadow.
Yeah, shadow.
The Zohar teaches concerning the structure of or form of man through which the individual is created. At the moment, the Zohar teaches When the soul unites with the body, the Holy One, blessed be He, sends down to earth a form, dech yokah, stamped with His seal. This form is present at the union of the husband and the wife, and if a man's eyes have the capability, he will see it at their heads. The form has a human face, and its image will be carried by the person who is to be born from the fertilized seed. It is this form that comes to us when we are born into the world, grows along with us, and accompanies us when we leave this world. And this form, the Torah adds, is a heavenly phenomenon. According to the Zohar, man's eyes cannot see this form. But from a rather lengthy quotation in the Shochah Shodot, we learned that in the circles of Abraham's Abulah's disciples, the mystical idea developed that certain chosen persons, men of set-apart spirit and privilege to have disclosed before their eyes in moments of ecstasy their own ego, their heavenly form, and in this form they see the divine, the hidden, and the concealed. So what it's saying there, in some cases you do get a glimpse of who is in you, what that soul in you looks like. Yeah. Matthew chapter 7. And after Shena Yamim, 6 days, Rebbe Melech HaMashiach took Kipha, Yaakov, and Yochanan, his brother. He brings them up on a high mountain in Yichadas. And Rabbi Melech HaMashiach was transfigured before them, and Mashiach's face shone like the Shemesh, and his garment became brilliant like the ore of the light. And in Nay, they appeared before them, Moshe Rabbeinu and Eliyahu HaNavi, conferring with Rabbi Melech Mashiach. Transfigured. Now, can you add this up to me? There are 3 men that appeared to them. This is the Hebrew word for transfigured. Can you add that up and tell me what it equals to? This is the only time I'll get you to do it. If you have your things, you can add it up. Come on. We've been doing the mantra for nearly 4 years now. Jay, you got to the board.
So 455
Just write up.
plus.
So 300. Shin is 300.
Yeah, 300. So it's 455.
Okay, 455.
And then 90.
Just add it up.
400.
I don't know.
300 is the shin.
300. Yod is 10.
Yep.
Noon is 50. Hay is 5. So 454.
Noon is
3.
Yeah, I made a mistake.
50. Noon is 50.
Yep, 50. And hay is 5. So that's 365. So can you put 365 at the bottom?
Whoops. Noon is
50 and hay is 5.
Oh, 5. 365. Okay.
365. Remember, this word is being used right now in the Brit Hadashah. It's being birthed right now. Transfiguration, right?
So Sadi is
Moses
90,
is meeting 2 other men.
90.
90.
Vav is 6. Resh is 200.
I don't know, people learn words.
Is
And hay.
200.
And hay is 5 again.
Rosh is 6 and hay is 5.
What's
Resh
the total?
is 200. Vav is
6.
6.
Oh, hang on. What's that? That's meant to be Rosh.
Yeah,
Sadi
Resh
is
200.
90.
Vav.
Vav is 6.
Vav
Resh
is
is
6.
200. And hay is 5.
Which one is Rosh?
Resh is the one.
Rosh is how many?
Yeah, 200.
200.
Yeah.
Oops, I wrote 6.
Okay, so it adds up to 200. No,
200. Rosh is
200.
6. We've got
301.
Yeah, 301.
Okay, 301. Okay, Jay, add 301 to
600. Oh.
66.
Jay. Come on, Jay.
Oh,
What?
is
I
it-
Is that true?
Right?
Is it 6?
666. 666. This is the word transfigured. Adds up to 666. See, people are sleeping right now. I don't know why I'm even teaching this stuff, because I can just lock myself in a cave and have all this information to myself. Jay, did it add up to 666?
Yes, it did. Yeah, it did.
3 men appeared on Mount Figuration, and a 6 represents a
Man.
vav.
Oh, yes.
Vav.
Hmm,
666.
makes sense.
The number 13 in the world means evil, but in Hebrew, the number 13 is very lucky.
It's a good number, yeah.
666 for 2,000 years have been taught to us it's a bad number. It's actually a very good number. We should be proud to be called 666.
Satan's number.
In Revelation, it doesn't
Maybe.
sound good.
Yeah.
Because Revelation is not 666. It's a different number.
Yeah.
But they picked, okay, remember how the enemy can
It's the
do things?
deception we were talking about.
Remember I said 13 in the world is a bad number.
Mm.
In China, there's no 13 elevator. There's no 13 level.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Same as here in
the world has
Sydney, they
so
do.
the world has taught
Only
that
Chinese.
13 is bad, but 13 in Bnei Israel's language is good. The world for 2,000 years has been telling you 666 is bad, but right now the word 666, the word transfigured, adds up to 666. And who stands on the mountain? Two men, the two witnesses,
Yes.
Moses and Eliyahu. The two olive trees, the two candlesticks. Okay, so 666 has been taught to you as if it's bad. But what John saw was not 666. He saw the name of the prophet Muhammad. Well, that's his name.
Oh, that's
Oh,
right.
yeah.
I know
The
Allah.
cube,
Yeah,
Allah.
Allah. In,
Yeah,
what's
right.
the saying?
Right. And
Yeah.
along comes an English speaker, and they go, oh, that's 666. And for 2,000 years, we go, oh, let's stay away from 666. The same as, I'm going to stay away from the number 13. That's a house with a number 13. If that was a house that was 100 grand, had number 13, I'll buy it. I don't care what they think it's in there. So
That's because it's 100 grand, not sure.
I bought house number 26. I'll sell it.
Oh, what's
26 is my house.
Alright.
how's it to
So there's a great website that's called the Morphix Dictionary. You can put in any Hebrew word and it will come up for you there. Okay, let's keep going. Numbers 24:3. And he took up his parable and said to Balaam, this is Numbers, the son of Beor said, and the man whose eyes was closed has said. So I'm taking you back to why a man shall not wear woman's clothing. All right, the Geber, the strong, which is 22:5. We go to 22:5. Men's garbs, men's clothing and women's clothing. Geber, man, strong man, warrior, emphasizing strength or ability to fight. The Bar, Joel Strix, he was a rabbi, was a distinguished scholar, one of the foremost rabbis of Poland, had in the 17th century perceived in philosophy and source of heresy, and was persuaded that it was seductive, strange women about whom King Solomon admonished so severely in the book of Proverbs, and of whom he predicted that all who come to her would not return. Strange women is not women.
Woman is one.
It's not strange women. Shalom.
Sorry, I have to go.
Shalom. It's a long
I
lesson.
don't want to go, but I have to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shabbat shalom.
So I might be able to follow this up.
Meaning, this strange woman was no other than a geber, a man, a ladyboy, a transvestite.
Yeah.
Because a woman's a woman. What's a strange woman? A woman's a woman. Why do you call a woman strange? Yes, her practices might be funny, but she's not strange. It's a ladyboy. Yeah, like a bear.
Strange woman is like strange fire.
Yes,
Yeah.
and he's saying that men, all who come to this strange woman will not return. Okay, it's different to all the other teachers you have. Joel Strikes could not forgive the Italian rabbi Julia Mirz for permitting the holding of masquerades during the days of Purim for the sake of the joy of festivals. Why? The pious Joel complains strongly of the very particular custom following which people disguise themselves in strange clothing during the days of Purim, men in women's clothing and women in men's, and that no one protests against this practice. Even worse, Strikes is the fact that people put masks on their faces so that they would not be recognized. This must not be permitted either on Purim or at weddings.
But the interesting thing there for us is that even in the Jewish community, how culture can confuse what they see Torah to be saying.
Yeah.
We just assume they all knew that, but even they are caught up.
They did. A woman shall not wear which pertains to a man, and a man shall not wear. Haya, to be, become, come to pass. So I'm breaking down these words here for you. Haya, to become. Kitel, article. Kala, to accomplish, to seize. Labash, to dress. Shimla, to wrap, to mantle. Garment, first mentioned in Genesis 9:2. Shen and Japhet, who took a garment and laid it across their father. Okay, let's go to the bird's nest and we'll wrap it up. 22:6. If a bird's nest chance to be upon their way in any tree or on the ground, which the young ones or eggs, or have youngs or eggs, and the dam, which is the mother bird sitting upon the young or upon the eggs, thou shalt not take the mother with the young. Baderech. So I'm looking at the word baderech. Baderech and the etz. Bakol etz. The way. To mean that this will depend on making teshuvah, repentance, which is also called derech. Midrash, Yachot, Tehillim. He instructed sinners in the way. Tehillim, this is Psalm, says he instructed sinners in the way. And we know that teshuvah will hasten the gedulah, which is redemption. Any tree, be'echol etz, as a remnant to the Torah, which can bring about the gedulah. We also know that the Torah is called etz, the tree, as we saw in Proverbs 31:3. She is the tree of life to those who take hold of her. Why has Yeshua not returned after 2,000 years? Because the majority do not understand the spiritual commandment. I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. Through me means the word, the exact word that was spoken, written on parchment, and then delivered through a voice. If repentance represents the way, and Torah represents the tree, the only way to bring Mashiach back is for the body of Christ to return back to the tree.
Amen.
Unless the body of Christ return back to the foundation of Torah, Mashiach will never return. Therefore, our mission, if we choose to accept, is to hasten and help ourselves and those who are on the path of the way but unable to get to the tree. Our job is to bring them here. That's what it is. And for 2,000 years, we're not doing it.
To the Torah.
And so that's the reason why this mother bird was given. Also, the redemption is dependent upon Israel. If they hear his voice, the book says, Tomer Deborah says, like a bird who wanders from her nest, the bird referring to the Shekinah, so is a man referring to Hashem, who wanders from his place. He, Hashem, waits for her, the Shekinah, and swears that he will not return to his place until he returns to her place. Returns her to her place. First, he too is ill because of our transgressions, crushed willingly because of our iniquities. The healing of both is in our hands. That's coming from them. Surely thou shalt let the dumb go, the bird go, and the young thou may take thyself, and it be well with thee, and that thou mayest prolong thy days. This is the mitzvah commandment to drive away the mother bird before taking the eggs or the young birds from her nest. This mitzvah is called shelach halach hachem, sending away the mother bird. What is the reward of observing this mitzvah? This is one of the only acts in which we are promised the reward, that it will be good for you and you should lengthen your days. Second one was honor your mother and your father, yes? If you have no children, Hashem declares, I will grant you offspring. Furthermore, observing this commandment hastens the coming of Mashiach and the arrival of Elijah the prophet, the Midrash Rabbah. So what they're saying there is, if you can understand this mitzvah of driving away the mother bird and attaching yourself to the baby bird, this is hastening the Mashiach's coming. It's not coming from me, this is coming from them. How so? The mother of Messiah. Ooh, okay, the mother of Messiah. It's not Mary.
No.
Hidden away by either Elijah or King Joshua, in the time the staff will appear as a weapon in the hands of Hepzibah. Remember, the king needs a staff or a crown to be a king, right? Or subjects. The mother of the Mashiach. Adonai will give Hepzibah, the mother of Meshachem, son of Ammiel, a staff for acts of salvation. He says, a great star will shine before her. Now, this is not talking about this woman. It's alluding to Revelation, all right? All the stars will swerve from their paths. Hepzibah, the mother of Meshachem, son of Ammiel, will go out and kill two kings whose hearts are set on doing evil. Nuf, king of Yemen, and Izana, king of Antioch.
Turkey.
Now the staff that the Lord will give Hepzibah, the mother of Meshachem, son of Ammiel, is made of almond wood, and it is hidden away in Rachat. This is the staff Adonai gave to Adam and Moses and Aaron and Joshua the king and King David. Hepzibah, the mother of Meshachem, son of Ammiel, will stand at the east gate. Ooh. You know what the east gate is, right? The golden gate, the one that's closed off. Of Jerusalem during the execution of Christ's death, judgment, and final. So that the wicked man will not come there. Then Hepzibah, the mother of Messiah, will come and hand over to him the staff by which the signs were performed. It then passes from her to the Messiah ben Yosef, and then what? He will pass over to him the staff which the signs will perform. Okay. It will then passes over her.
From her.
From her to the Messiah ben Yosef, and then to the Messiah ben David, who will weed it in the end time struggle. But even out of reach, this awesome rod has the power to help Bnei Israel in distress. Several Hebrew and Aramaic amulets from late antiquities and the Middle Ages involve the authority of Moses' rod in granting protection to the bearer, and by the rod of Moses, by the front plates of Aaron, the high priest, and by the signet ring, Solomon and David, by the horns of the altar. Okay, where am I going with this? I had a lot of stuff. Okay, let's go here. 2 Kings 21:1. Manasseh, king of Judah. Manasseh was 12 years old when he became king. He reigned in Jerusalem 55 years. His mother was named Hezekiah. Okay? And Isaiah 62:4. That's the 2 places where you find her. No longer will they call you desolate, deserted, or name your land desolate, but you will be called Hezekiah, and your land Bula, for the Lord will take delight in you, and your land will be married. Now this is prophecy here. This is talking about prophecy. Hezekiah means my delight is in her. It is the queen. It is the queen of the king. Hezekiah, the mother of Manasseh. 2, it is a name for Jerusalem. This is a hinting to the new name. Remember, I can't remember, is it Jeremiah? It says that when Mashiach comes, the city will not be called Jerusalem anymore. It will be given a new name. Yeah?
So this is a different Manasseh we're not talking about.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so you break that up, her name. You break her name up. Kippatz means delight, pleasure. Sefer Zebulah, also called the Books of Zebuel, is a medieval Hebrew apocalyptic writing at the beginning of the 7th century in the style of biblical versions. For example, Daniel and Ezekiel, placing the mouth of Zebulah, the last descendants of the Davidic line, to take prominent part in Israel's history, who laid the foundation of the Second Temple in the 6th century BC. I'm just giving you the background of who I'm getting this context of. This guy named Zebulah. Okay? Zerubbabel. The book of Zerubbabel says that on his arrival, the Israelites will not acknowledge Mashiach ben David. The one point mentioned, which only the book of Zerubbabel contains, is that besides the 2 Messiah, there is to be a woman, Hezekiah, the mother of Messiah ben David. She will come upon the scene 5 years before Mashiach ben Yosef comes. Has she come onto the scene? Has the mother of Israel come onto the scene? And a great star will light her path. She will slay 2 kings and assist Mashiach ben Yosef in his war against the king of Persia, Iran. This is all spiritual stuff, right? So Persia is Iran. Who is this woman? And during the flight into the wilderness, she will shelter Israel from the persecutions of the Amulites. This last feature of the description calls to mind the flight of the woman as described in Revelation by John and the description. Okay? The picture of the future world in Zebulun's apocalypse is also distinctive, for in addition to establishment of the heavenly Jerusalem upon 5 mountains. Oh, do you hear what you just said there? Lebanon, Moriah, Tabor, Carmel, and Harmon. Nothing more is mentioned than the resurrection of the generation buried in the wilderness. Remember, this new Jerusalem is going to rest upon these 5 mountains. So what he's alluding to is it's coming down from heaven. So he's saying it's useless you guys are trying to build the 3rd temple. It's literally going to come down. That's what he's saying here. Buried in the wilderness, and of the faithful who met her during the death and the persecution. Simeon ben Yochai and his son had hidden themselves for 13 years in a cave. When they came out, everything on which they turned their eyes took fire. And a bat call, which is the voice of the dove, called to them and said, "Have you come out to destroy my world?" That is there. I put that in there for only those who are studying more will understand what I did there. Mashiach was born into a generation unprepared for this kingdom. Rather than immediately gathering the tribes back to this land, he desired to suffer, bearing the transgressions of the world upon his shoulders. The Zohar explains the need for Mashiach to give up his life in no uncertain terms, because this lower level lacks the manifestation of Hashem. Therefore, Mashiach must die. He will remain dead until this level receives life from the high level, at which point he will rise and come to life and return. Wow. He's not coming back. He comes back, but no one's ready. No one's ready for this guy. Why? Proverbs 3 says, "She is a tree of life to those who take hold of her. those who hold fast to her will be blessed. So that is it there. I'm finished. If you understand what I just said
Scroll
there.
it down
Go
again.
back, just hold it there. I just want to check out Balak 2 and 3.
So he will come back when this level receives life from the higher level. Because it says at that point he will rise and come to life and return.
Okay. The mother bird is called the golden dove. The rabbi went up, he pulled Mashiach down, or he pulled Hashem down, because he tried to capture the young, the egg. So when you shoot the mother bird, right, one, Mashiach came, and you shoo him away. Because when he received the voice of the dove, he transitioned himself into a man and a woman. Because then he speaks as a woman. How long have I longed to gather you as a mother hen? He's now talking as two. Right. So we've shooed him away. And what's left in the nest is what's left. And so the question is, how do we get that mother bird to come back? Right. And when you go back and you find him on a tree, what tree? When you walk along the way. So we're all, for 2,000 years, we've all been on the way, on this derek. But we're not gravitating back to the tree. That is what it is. Now imagine when the church gravitates back to Torah. We're ready. That's right. That's all we need to do. So the question really, you're asking yourself, Yeshua said, I'm coming back soon. Mashiach, it's been 2,000 years. The word soon is not soon. Right? So what are we doing wrong? We've missed the most important key. That's the reason why he can't return.
Come back to your, the word soon is fantastic, Midrash. So come back to the dead rising again.
All right.
So now this ties in with that, because when he's died and risen, their soon's just like that.
Yes.
So to me, that's the same as our soon. Everyone's soon is when we come back to Torah.
Yes.
So in a physical sense, soon seems like 2,000 years, but to those dead, as soon as he did what he did at that point in Hashem's history, their soon was ready.
Correct.
That was it, though he was there.
Correct. So the question is, are we really waiting for Mashiach? Because in the Jewish sense, they're waiting for Mashiach that will just lead Israel into a new era of faith. But a lot of Israel now, the news is they're running back to the very place they killed them, Germany. You know that they're leaving Israel in droves to go back to Germany and live? Did you know this made the news? And they're joyful about it.
Why going back to
Germany?
Because Israel has become a state of religion now.
But is that the Goy, or is that the...
No, that's them.
You mean the secular Jews are going
Well,
to
let's say
Germany?
B'nai Israel.
That's what I'm saying. To
Yeah.
me, the secular Jews will do exactly what they're told not to go back to Egypt.
Yeah.
So they're going back to Egypt.
They're gone back to Egypt. So they've gone back to the very place that murdered them to live again. Because apparently Germany says, welcome, we won't do this to you again. Welcome in. It's on the news. You can find this. It made the news.
Look at history.
It made the news, yes.
Before Holocaust, pogroms, the Russians, the Polish army, Prussians have been doing it for years. It's just that in our soon we understand Holocaust, but this has been going on.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it's just goes to show the secular they don't get it.
Yeah.
But they shouldn't, because they're not reading Torah.
Now, is anyone lost or any questions?
So is the what's got me thinking, if the secular Jews are leaving, which is great, does that mean that it's purifying, it's actually making Israel become a place where the Torah believing Jews will come back?
Torah can be established.
Yes.
Yes, because they can't stand. It's like putting a person who goes to church right now in this midst of us. They cannot stand us because we're talking a different language to them.
They pray for us because they think we're on the wrong path.
Yes, I'll pay for it.
They
Yeah.
have that set, they'd say, I'm praying for you, so
Yes.
I think, well, no, we need to be praying for you.
So the real question is that the church must answer. Why has not B'nai Israel to answer? why has our Mashiach, who we have adopted as our teacher, Jesus Christ, not returned? The reason he has not returned is because we rejected it.
Is it we, the church, or is it we,
The body,
Israel,
who say we
everyone?
are the body of... No, Israel doesn't see Messiah as we do, okay? They don't see Yeshua.
No, I know
Okay,
that.
so Yeshua came to create a kingdom through his disciples. And he personally told Peter to say, feed my sheep. Keep going. Now the question is, why has he not returned? This is the body of Mashiach. If the church calls himself the body of Christ, why hasn't he returned? The depths of it is they have not returned. They have not returned back to the original word. Because you are returning back to the...
Of what it
Correct.
all came
Now,
from. This is what I
You
say.
think about it now.
Yeah.
If 2-3 billion Christians today around the world return back to the Torah, you think that will be the Kickstarter?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
We're adopted. We're sort of branched in. You know.
No, it's not that.
But isn't it all about Israel and the B'nai Israel? That they're the ones who have moved away from Torah.
No. B'nai Israel has not moved away from Torah. B'nai Israel is doing what they've been done for centuries.
But-
is to do Torah.
I'm
I'm talking about Yeshua's disciples here.
My question is though, is B'nai Israel shooing the mother bird away, or is
Yes.
the church, or is it both?
But this is the
Is
commandment.
that
But
until they stop, both Israel and the Christians are both shooing it away still.
yes.
So
Yes.
in their own way.
Yes.
So it takes both to come back, which
Yes.
is sort of happening. We've seen
Yes.
it happen.
How painful it is if you were a very cruel person, right? You found a nest and it had 5 eggs and an egg was hatching and you shoo away the mother bird. You sit there just to taunt this bird. Just every time it flies back, you just, right? For years you do this. How do you think the mother bird would feel?
Torture them.
Yeah.
Is that torture?
Is that torture? That
Yeah,
you're
mother.
constantly doing this? Alright, so back to my question is, for 2,000 years Mashiach has not returned. And the rabbis say in the Talmud that the day that we understand this mitzvah, and it will bring you long life, it will be good for you. Okay, this is the only 2 commandments that bring reward. Right? So basically it's saying pay attention here. Right? So what is it doing? It means it's saying to us that we have to understand this commandment. And this commandment to me, 2018, is the church has to say to themselves, why has Christ not come back yet? The real reason is they have not returned back to the mother, the tree. Let's go back to the tree first.
But isn't it really the fact that everyone's been deceived, really, like going way back, where they've just put aside the Torah part?
Understand you've been deceived.
So,
But you have to ask yourself, it's been 2,000 years. Either this religion is not right, or someone's making a big fool of me. Because it's been 2,000 years, yes? Yeah. It's been a long time.
And we're still waiting.
We're still waiting. So therefore, this is a very long waiting game that we're playing, and someone's playing a big trick on us. Like I said to you, someone is shooing us the mother bird away.
But also your metaphor of the bird has been the bird represents the ruach. hasn't it?
Yes.
So
Which was given.
all day. It's been about the spiritual side.
Yes.
So it's also the deception that the church, whenever it's operating in the spirit, that's when it's growing. That's when it's actually living Torah. But it's the fact is that most of the church isn't spiritual. So to me, an alternative is if the church got more spiritual, not lots of clapping, singing in spirit, but actually, like Yeshua said, it's all about the spirit. It's all about, I'm about another world. I'm not about the physical world, the spiritual. So, I think the imperative is that they get away from their club mentality and get back to reading and praying for the Spirit to guide them.
Yeah,
So-
the thing with the Spirit, as far as the church is concerned, is that they believe that when they're in the Spirit, that all these sort of miraculous things are happening. But what the Ruach is actually there for, and the Brit Hadashah even says this, the Ruach is there to convict you of sin, and to have Torah written upon your heart, you know. So it's actually the Ruach is to bring you back to Torah, not
Yes.
That's right.
not to have you speaking in tongues
That's
and
right.
Because Torah is
rolling on the
spiritual.
floor.
Torah is spiritual.
Which is a big thing that the church has said, no, it's not spiritual. It's just a whole bunch of stuff. That
Yeah, that's it.
now we've got the spiritual thing, but you know what the Jews have is not spiritual.
Yeah.
So with churches who act like that, like Abigail was saying, what that would be, would that be a spirit of God then, or
It's a different spirit.
Well, okay. So we know that we will not hasten Mashiach coming. That's a given because the body of Mashiach is so bad, right? We know that we're not going to hasten Mashiach coming back. So what's the second alternative? Mashiach coming back? It's going to get very bad to the point where
He has to.
correct intervene.
Which
When
the
bad
opposing
is when you
Jews-
see someone get hit by a car and you've got a whole crowd and everyone just looks but then they walk on. That's bad. Bad is when you start to treat the earth, the animals and things in such cruelty that it's just become the normal sense.
And it's interesting that the Christian church believes that that is when Mashiach is coming, when the world is just so bad that he has to come back to save it. Whereas in Judaism, they believe that they have to merit the return of Mashiach.
Correct.
So it's the two opposing
The
views.
Talmud says, blessed is the person or the kahila that tries to hasten Mashiach coming back by putting things in place, by bringing back the Torah. This is the written, and then by bringing back the oral Torah, the word, combining them together. And the Talmud gave you everyone a glimpse that the man who walks the earth will combine the two. So you have to look at rabbis today who is teaching the Torah and the oral Torah and not condemning it, but they're saying embrace it. But I'm still the believe in the messianic kind of Mashiach. That's the person that you should be. And because we do this in a way with all our finances, we are hastening the redemption, the coming of Mashiach. Because when Mashiach walks through the door, we can say, at least we try with every means to try and bring you forward, birth you into this world. But because the world is at such a state, we had not enough energy left. And so that's where it says like, the saints will go weary because the world defeated them, which is coming. You know, I'm pretty tired, but that's not a reason. But again, if that's the way the church wants to play that game, where the world goes to that state that is so bad, then the earth will react. How the earth will react is through volcanoes, earthquakes, tsunamis. It will play its game, and everything will be new again.
Maybe both things are actually going to happen.
Yeah, I think
So
that's
that
true, or that.
the divide, there's not going to be any grey areas anymore. There's going to be the world getting absolutely as horrible as it can possibly get. And the righteous ones are going to be becoming more and more righteous and really obeying Torah and really walking in the way. So it's going to be absolute black and white.
That's right.
And no one fence sitting in the
Yeah, but you know,
Maybe both will happen.
but to drag one's feet out of bed is very tough.
So that's where you can get the whole idea of the yin yang whole idea.
Yeah. Oh well. Anything else before we close up? We did a good time today. Anything else?
Just about the mother bird.
Yes.
Like, a lot of what I've read is that it's an act of compassion to shoo the mother bird away when you take the eggs, so that she doesn't see you taking the eggs. And some rabbis have said that it's not a mitzvah that you actually have to do, because it says if you happen upon a nest as you're walking, you know, if you're taking it literally.
Yeah.
So you just happen upon it, and if you want to eat the eggs, you shoo the mother away and take the eggs.
Okay.
But the other one that I heard just yesterday
Yes.
was that it's actually an act of cruelty. And they say that when you shoo a dove away from her nest,
Yes.
the cry that she makes
Correct.
is absolutely haunting.
Correct.
And they say that's the imagery is that you're separating Hashem from his children.
Correct.
So they see the mother dove as Hashem and his haunting cry when he's lost his children.
Also,
They
when
say
you
it's that image.
when you detach a mother that's giving birth straight away, the mother would not remember and might leave a nest by itself because it hasn't had that connection yet.
Wow. And also,
They say
I've
that's
heard this. I don't.
if you immediately take an animal while it's birthed, the mother forgets. Like let's say before a mother can get milk, it needs to have that process. If that process has not happened, then it hasn't been weaned. It hasn't gone. That's what I'm
So
saying.
that contradicts the mother with the goat and the milk.
You're meant to keep her for 7
Because
days.
there's, so they can connect.
And they bond, yeah. Which I guess is why in adoptions they don't let the mother see the baby,
Yeah.
so the bonding
So-
isn't there. But also with a nest, and this is something I don't know if it's true, but I've always sort of been of the understanding that if a human being touches the eggs in the nest, when the mother comes back, she actually can smell it and she'll kick them out. Is
That's
that
what I'm saying.
real or is that
It's
an
been
urban
rejected.
myth?
She will reject it.
Probably oils from the
Well,
snake.
that's with sheep. And sheep, if you do that with lambs, then
Yeah.
then the sheep can reject the
Correct.
lambs if you've touched them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I told Ben.
Yeah. I got told off.
I told him off because he said, "Look at this," and he had the little lamb. I said, "Ben, put it back."
Oh.
That's just
Exactly.
that's just stupid. But that's because you thought it was fun, but by doing that act, it was cruel.
So you've got to give them that 7-day bonding.
We
for example.
hoped that
Yes.
it was enough that they knew each other.
So the commandment is yes in a physical sense, but I'm saying to you it's not physical because how many people walk by a nest? All right. Well, the rabbis are not touching on the spiritual sense. The spiritual sense is one. It has to do with Bnei Israel going out to the nations and saying, "This is what this faith is about. This is what Mashiach should be about."
But as a mitzvah, it's also the physical.
Yeah, it is
So
physical.
you have to have
But you
the
fulfilling it,
as
it
well
doesn't
as
really
the
do much.
spiritual.
What does it do for once if you?
It's supposed to. It's what it represents.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So it's like Mashiach saying, "Eat my flesh and drink my blood." I'm saying to you that if the church does not change its ways and gravitate back to the Torah, 2,000 years is a long time, and you cannot blame him for waiting because it's our destiny, it's our choice to hasten Mashiach. So therefore, we as a community, we have to do our bit to bring people in who are on the way, because people who are in the church, they're on the way, right?
Yeah.
But we have to bring them on the way to the tree. If you're on the way and you stumble upon a tree, and on the tree was a nest, there's certain actions. On the nest you saw a mother bird, and in that nest is right. This is alluding to each step. So along the way you see the etz tree. You can reject or you don't. You see the dove, who is the ruach. Then you see the sun in the nest. This is all touching with the steps of each person that has gone on the walk of this journey.
But then, as we've seen, it doesn't work if we just go out and try to find Christian people to bring them into this walk. The Ruach must have done something first
Wrong word.
in them.
Even though you can sit in this shul, it doesn't actually mean you're doing Torah. Even though you're in here, you're not practicing Torah. You're not doing Torah. You're just a club member.
Well, we're keeping Shabbat, so we are.
Okay, all right, okay, very good.
So a practical, positive.
But I know what you mean.
A positive practical example is we had another new person to Hebrew classes on Thursday. And Lynette's coming, and I continually praise Hashem for Lynette. Is basically a female, single mother, Aboriginal woman who is a messianic. I mean, how much marginalised type can you think? And she comes and loves it. And she's there, and then we've got another woman through. So we've now got 3 people through Gilad Zuckerman who are coming in. This last woman's actually was brought up as from a Jewish family who wants to learn Hebrew. Wow. And she wasn't getting enough at the Hebrew classes at the WEA and so on. So and Yael sort of saying she can't do the wine thing because she's got a new job. She's saying Shabbat Shalom to me and all this sort of stuff.
Yes.
So it's in a way we are doing it, answering your concern, because it's somehow weirdly happening through the Hebrew classes. So maybe the same as I think Messianic Jews can have a great impact on the church. I think it's in a weird way the Hebrew classes, we can go back the other way to the Jewish community. So yeah, it's pretty. So keep praying for that, because Hashem is certainly doing something.
All right. should we close up or anything else? Because I can keep going, but I've got heaps. Look, the notes are still. So we wrap up. Look, just more and more if you want, but that's for next year.
Next year,
I know you guys will. It's time.
me last week.
And it's a beautiful day outside. Let's sit outside today. It's beautiful.
That's it.
All right, let's do the hagba.
First time.
Jeremy, you help me?
Thank you,
On
Ben.
that side. After we've done the mid-range, we have to do the hagba to make sure what we've done is correct. Oh, it's gonna be heavy, this one. Just let me lift down. I'll lift up. Torah Shesam Moshe Yifnei Bnei Israel Al Pi Adonai Ve'ad Moshe Es Hayim Damar Kazikim Ba Ve'tom Keha Me'yusha Dirakeha Darakenoram Shalom, Hashivenu Adonai, Elechet Nashua, Kadesh Yomeinu, Kigem.
She is a tree of life to those who take hold of her. Happy are those that will support her. Her ways are pleasantness and her paths are shalom. Turn us to you, Adonai, to you, and allow us to return. Renew our days as the days of old. Amen.
31. Oseh Shalom Bimromah, Uyaseh Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Vimru, Amen. Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Vimru, Amen. Do the honors to pray for Jerusalem.
Heavenly Father, can I please ask that your eyes be focused on in Israel and Jerusalem, and please cover your children with your mighty hands, that nothing will go through them, nothing will hurt them, that help them to turn to your Torah, to come and worship you, and know that you are the living God, you're our Creator that will guide us through everything, and if we turn to you, we know that we are protected, and you'll guide us through you, through Yeshua. And I just pray that please be with all our sisters and brothers that couldn't come in this morning. Just protect them and give your shalom, a rest day for them, that they'll be that the rest will be in your, that they will be resting in you. And Father, just please, I just ask that please protect all your children around the world, here in Australia, and all my brothers and sisters, our families, our community, especially here, that please help us, that you bring us back to this this precious house, that we come here every Shabbat, that come and fellowship together and worship you and give you honor and glory. So thank you so much for your Shabbat, and please be with us today and help us and guide us to go back home safely. Thank you so much, Father, to Yeshua Mashiach. Amen.
Amen. We got a page 35. Sister, you got page 35? Yes? We do the prayer of our Master. Avinu shebashamayim, yitkadeh shimcha,
shamayim uba'aretz v'tiktei lameinu תמידית ומחולנו כמותנו כאשר אנו אוכלים להותיר לנו ואל תביאנו לידי ניסיון ושורנו מכל רע. אמן, אמן, amen, 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 amen.
We bless each other.
Yivarechecha Adonai ve'ish shamecha, Yareh Adonai panav elecha ve'chunecha, Yisar Adonai panav elecha, ve'yasem lecha shalom, ve'yasem lecha shalom. Avi toda rabba, Avi toda rabba, Avinu shebashamayim, Avi toda rabba, Amen. Shabbat shalom.
Well done.
Thank you.
Well done.
So can I share some exciting news?
Yes,
for
please.
those who don't